So can I just have a quick show of hands? It's more of a request. Who in the audience kind of sees himself as being disruptive? Paul, obviously. Only a few? Okay, so basically what I'm very keen to do, because actually by trade I'm a chartered mechanical engineer, so I'm not technically a marketer. Ooh. But basically for the past kind of 8 to 10 years, my job has been to grow and turn around companies. But one of the things that I'm very good at is spotting how things interact, how things kind of link together, which I'll touch on a bit later. But basically my hope is to add kind of genuine value in the next kind of 15, 20 minutes that hopefully will be of use so you can leave here at least with some new kind of ideas. Okay, so before I kind of start, we had a problem. I hate people that overrun on presentations. So we have the white bar of death that counts down 20 minutes, so you can all see how we kind of get on at the top. Okay, so out of interest, who in the room is in business? Most people. And then out of interest, who also works for themselves? So a fair bit. Because one of the things I was very conscious of is that there are a lot of people that will help you grow and scale your business, hundreds of them. But actually one of the key things that I think most people actually miss is that how do you actually know what you're doing in the first place is the correct thing to do? So basically if you're currently here, we all want to do that. We all want to follow Neil's model and kind of scale and go forward. But it's the one critical thing. Basically it's almost go back a few steps to actually look at what is everything you could do, what makes you unique, and actually, do you really kind of understand your customer and their pain points to actually, we might currently sell SEO or business as a service, whatever it is, but what else could you do? How else could it work? And it's this kind of disruptive strategy piece is what I'm kind of going to share with you tonight. So can I ask a quick kind of shout out? Can you all kind of describe your ideal customer to me, please? This is where you shout out.
Disruptive.
Sorry?
Disruptive.
True, but are they a PLC? Are they independent?
People in this room.
Okay. Students. So what you kind of tend to find is most economies, they have companies of different sizes. Can you see that at the back, Joe? Is that okay? So basically you have big PLC companies at the top. I used to work for one of them. And actually right at the bottom, you have a whole raft of people in this room who are solopreneurs, people that work for themselves. And basically it's one of the things that actually when you properly look at your market, I think it's about 90% of the UK's economy, especially in the northeast, are sub £10 million businesses. And actually the needs and wants of a business that is single, solopreneur, to a PLC are completely different. So again, as we kind of start to map out and think through all the different customers, again, their pain points and everything that you sell to, that you try and solve, should be different, yeah? So I'm going to flip over. So the next one, it's meant to be a factory. So if this is, you get the point. This also works for B2B and B2C. So now, what we do when we sell stuff, or we market things, we solve pain points. So again, for your target customer, can you shout out some things that you actually solve? This is the most important thing your business does. Inexperience? Okay, I want you to shout and I'm going to write, okay?
Confident.
Inexperience. Keep them coming. Yeah.
Visibility. Save time.
Time, good one. Okay, so I'm going to widen this up just to general business problems. So what other pain points do you think these businesses, and I've ran them in the past, actually have? Because most of the answers here are based on the pain points that you solve as marketers. But the big thing, if you're an MD of a company in Shildon that nobody's ever heard of, you've got a lot of stuff going on. So on Neil's chart, when you had all the decision makers that you have to convince of different things, they've got a lot of stuff going on. And one of the key points I'll touch on a bit later is that our job is to solve those different pain points. So again, as a business, does anyone want to shout out the pain points of a business as a whole? Cash flow? Yeah, perfect. What was the second one? People good, yeah? Cool, no, keep them coming.
Simplicity?
Simplicity is a problem?
Yeah. Well, complexity is a problem, potentially.
You get the point. So basically, but companies have a whole raft of problems. And again, at different elements of the pyramid we'll touch on, they all have different problems. My last job was head of marketing for a PLC energy firm, completely different to being MD of a company in Shildon that was 3 million turnover that on camera I won't tell you the problems, but they have problems. And again, I set up on my own in October, so as a solo entrepreneur, my problems again are completely different to what other people's are, okay? But you get the point that actually, when you actually look at your pain points that you can solve as a customer for different businesses, they are different. There's a lot to kind of go at. So this is different. So actually, I had a chat with Guy in Costa Coffee about 2 weeks ago, but we're going to do it as a room. So now we've looked at the kind of general economy. We've kind of a very hashed job at the business, but actually now we're going to talk about you, okay? So what makes you like unique? Shout, not you. Shout out some things. Values, yep, perfect. Keep them going. Yeah. Yeah. If we can. Models? Yeah, cool. The thing, just because I'm very short on time, I'm caught all the way through. If you then flip this a different way, now think about the skill sets that you have and then shout some of those up, because again, what we're looking to do is match up the pain points of the customer and your ability to solve them. So again, project management might be one of them. Sales. Do you want to shout some out for me, please? Perfect.
Strategy.
Yes. You say ballsy. Fair enough. Because, okay, so what we've kind of touched on there again is almost the personality traits. Flip it a different way. What else do you have which makes you unique? Prime example, so we've got Paul sat in the audience. One of the things that makes Paul unique is Paul's network. Obviously, he plays off the whole super connector thing. That is a USP that he has that I don't have. My background is offshore energy. Again, we all actually have genuine techniques and things that make you unique. Duncan entertains small children. But you get the point, is that when you actually look, but you can use all these different things to make yourself stand out. So what you would do if you're looking to be disruptive is map down everything about your interests. Are you married? I play basketball. Really kind of map it out, because that makes me different. That if I was trying to win the Newcastle Eagles as a customer, I have a completely different approach to what Duncan would have. And this is the kind of thing, just trying to get hold of everything that you can use as a business or as a person. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the first one. There we go. Okay, just going to switch pens. So the people, what sectors do you work in? Tech, okay. So, any others? Oh, good one, yeah. Anyone? Sorry, automotive. Ah, no, I always forget automotive. So I'm just going to put energy, but my point is, you get the point. And actually, food and like the whole vegan sector in the northeast is massive. But again, my background is offshore energy, so oil and gas, manufacturing, that kind of thing. And in that kind of vertical, I know a lot of people. First time I came to Tuss Park was in December. I knew nobody here, absolutely nobody. But it was one of those kind of key things that when I was looking to launch on my own, I knew I had to almost get to know and get a feel for this kind of sector and how it works. And the pain points that you have in the tech sector are completely different to the people in offshore energy, completely different to manufacturing. I haven't yet explored automotive or food, etc. But you kind of get my point. And I'm going to switch pens again. So we said that you've got your big PLCs. You have your £10 million companies. and that's about 90% of the economy. But basically, as well as your different verticals, there's also different layers of the economy. So one of the things that I think every business should look at is almost you need to create an ecosystem of your products, which ranges from free, which is for your people at the bottom, and then goes up to very expensive right at the top. Because again, it's one of those things that when you're looking as a solo entrepreneur, as most of you are, you might be able to, actually I won't tell that story. No, I will. So basically I met with a consultant, I was MD of the Durham-based business, and he said that he was only interested in projects that were 20k plus, and I was running a £3 million business at the time, and I was like, no chance. And my point is, in his mindset, he was only interested in this, but the issue is, he's excluding 95% of the economy just with his mindset. So for instance, when I knew I wanted to set up on my own, I have an online book which is free, which you can download on my website. But there's a lot of things that are different price points, are different pain points. In theory, you can get people into your ecosystem, get them used to working with you, get to know your vision, your values, what you're about, your passion. And then actually, if they want to hire you to do some bespoke work, they can. But I know that this room with a lot of solid, they're here. But it's actually, it's the importance for Duncan to create an ecosystem around what he does. He could train people online. He could do different things that, yes, you can charge people X pounds a day, but it's really kind of looking at your different things. And then likewise, having almost acknowledgement that at each different level in the different sectors, it's a different offer. So your approach to go and knock on the door to sell into automotive, to sell into NIFCO, who make plastic parts, will be different to Newcastle Football Club or into Hive. But again, most people kind of miss the thought about being disruptive. Yeah? Perfect. So the big thing then to kind of look at, so you've got your ecosystem. Going back to this, I'm going to pick on a typical marketing sole trader. What you're then looking at is that if you're a £3 million business in Durham, they have issues with project management. It's a big one. Marketing, especially, because one of the big issues as well is that people don't know what they don't know. And a lot of people don't actually value the brilliance of marketing and sales and promotion. So in a lot of my last jobs, I had to run the company, do all the sales, do the marketing, do the graphic design, do the photography, do everything, because I had to, because it wasn't valued by the owners. But the point is, when you're looking at your own business and you each sell into whoever it is you sell into, you on your base level might think, actually, I do SEO to help people sell more online. But actually, say if Guy worked for himself, he could actually go into any of the business in the Northeast, help them run it, help them sell it, help them do it. That if you're a solo, if you work for yourself, that might triple your revenue streams. And it's a mindset, it's a different. But the big thing to kind of look at, just looking at time, is it's really how you piece this all together to help yourself be disruptive. And actually, there's things that you can offer in the marketplace that nobody else has. And that could be your background, your network, where you grew up. You might be in the Asian community. And that's something that I don't have. And it's really, you need to piece this all together to kind of be disruptive. So I'm actually going to cut my talk short. I hate it when people overrun. But it's the kind of thing that we talk a lot in the region about scale-ups and different things and different sectors and how you kind of take your company forward. For me, it's actually solving the piece of the puzzle. It's this bit. This is where you want to learn to be disruptive. And just in the last kind of few minutes, I think just as some examples I was at an event, I think it was a magazine launch, and there was a film company there, and they use a lot of disabled filmmakers. And when I was talking it through, he was saying, well, actually, we are quite expensive because of the logistics of getting there. And I said, well, actually, make people come to you. There's a big niche, and actually, we've got an event coming up soon with Tuss Park, but almost, don't just do what everyone else does just because that's what everyone else does. Use it to your strength and find your commercial links to actually outthink what everyone else does. I also work with, one of them is an executive coach hire company. So if you're going to coach tour to go to Scotland and wherever, very posh kind of coach. there are companies that do that, and there's a lot of price pressure on them because it's a commodity that's what people do. One of the things we're looking to do is launch their own tour company, so we decide what we use, when, where, what we sell, our price per customer quadruples, and actually, we're looking at making a genuine 10 times improvement in net profit, profitability. And actually, we did that in a single day. So it's the kind of thing that it is difficult to do, but the impact you can make in a single day to really revolutionize your business, what it does, how it works, isn't rocket science. It's really kind of just look at everything you do, everything you have, really understand the customer, and actually piece it together. So just as to kind of close, my advice for kind of everyone is understand the customer and properly map down into what they look like, what they feel like, what they're into, what their pain points are. Do they have issues with cash flow? I'm going to just add in some extra knowledge just because it might be useful. Is that, again, mapping out companies like this, one of the things that a lot of companies struggle with is if you look at their revenue through a year, it's not linear. A lot of companies are very seasonal, it's summer or winter. So they make loads of money in the summer and they're dead in the winter. What you would look from a disruptive strategy point of view is how can you plug that gap? What's their pain point? Well, then you look to, in the coach example, winter holidays, ski tours. You really look at what the pain points are. And again, another one is when I worked for the PLC firm, one of the things we were looking at was that what is your maximum addressable market? But then likewise, investors hate lumpy revenues, where basically you might have 2-3 projects a year which you make a ton of money on, and then you're dead for the rest of it because it's not predictable. So again, the more you understand the customer and what their problems are, you might actually be able to solve that. And actually, the more you know about these guys, what they do, how they work, they might be struggling to survive themselves. They might be, struggling to pay you, and they don't have the cash to do it. But actually, could you be flexible with your payment terms? This is, again, all down to your customer, your understanding. And actually, you can outcompete everyone else in the room just through being a bit more clever about what you do. So before my bar runs out, just checking my notes. Yeah, so that's about it. So just to kind of summarize, think about everything that you do, everything you could do. Don't be afraid to kind of be disruptive. You can always pick my brains. And actually, you can use this to kind of change the world. There you go. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Have we got any questions for Steve on that sort of stuff and disruptive strategy?
This normally takes 8 hours, by the way. No.
No.
If you want, just because, no, Paul, you can grab it. On the website, you can download a 175-page book with all of this in detail, and it is free, just in case it helps. Paul, yes?
It's excellent, so I'll start by saying that. But how have you found this, going from what's the biggest difference or challenge that you found?
The one for me, it's when you go up against established players that have been around for a while, my background is different, so I have to disrupt, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to make a dent. Because actually, where's Joe? He's had in the back. Joe put up a tweet yesterday, and it was to do with do coaches or consultants need to have a certain level of qualification before they should be allowed to do what they do? And I actually said no, even though check out my LinkedIn. I've been around a bit, but it's down to the customer to choose who they want to choose. So there's people that will pick Alan or the people that resonate with him more than they do with me, which is absolutely fine. And it's just, to even make a dent, I have to be disruptive. So you'll be able to check out my website. Like, one of the things that I'm looking at is that with a lot of people who work for themselves, who invent different products, they don't always have the cash to actually bring someone in to do it. So I'm actually investing with people to help them grow, so they don't have to pay me up front, but we're doing something different. And there's loads of things that I'm looking at like that, which is, it's interesting, but I also, I've read every textbook there is. I know what it is about driving sales pipelines and stuff. But again, on my free kind of ecosystem, what was it? I did a post which resonated that in understanding a lot of the challenges that solo entrepreneurs face, it's things that PLC firms teach, like running the sales pipeline. A lot of people don't know to track and do different things. So I purposely give out a ton of free information that in 60 years' time, you might be Neil, and he wants me to help pivot the company. So it's about getting people into your ecosystem, getting them a feel for who you are, and then actually, see where it goes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Steve.